If you're wondering whether a man is deeply in love with you, don't just watch how he acts in public, watch what he does in bed. Because when a man is in love, his behavior in those private, intimate moments shifts in subtle but powerful ways. And if you know what to look for, you'll never question how he truly feels again. Most people think intimacy is all about chemistry or technique. But when a man is emotionally invested, it shows up in 4 deeply revealing ways that have nothing to do with lust and everything to do with love. So let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening in bed when a man's heart is fully in it. And if you've ever been confused about whether someone's just enjoying the moment or truly connecting with you, stay with me, because I'll show you exactly how to tell the difference and how to invite real intimacy into your relationships. There's a moment, just a few seconds long, when a man watches a woman do something small, something she's not even aware she's doing, and in his mind he thinks, wow, I hope she never stops doing that. And no, he won't tell her, but it sticks with him deeply. Many women don't realize these little things really matter, but they do. They're the hidden charm behind why he keeps thinking about her long after the evening ends, even after the texts slow down. Ever wonder why some women seem unforgettable, even when they're not trying hard? It's not always about looks. It's not about her career or her social media. It's the little details, the gentle habits, the soft kind of power. And today, we're going to talk about 12 of those subtle things women do that men truly appreciate, though they rarely ever say it. You may already be doing some of these things, and if not, this might be your secret guide. There's something very special about the unexpected. When a woman does something kind and real with no plan or motive, it often touches a part of a man he didn't even realize was open. Picture this: he's having a rough day, stuck in work or lost in his thoughts, and his phone lights up. It's not a question, not a complaint. It's just her saying, thinking about you, hope your day's going okay. That simple message, that one moment, it goes deeper than she can imagine, because he wasn't waiting for it. And that surprise makes it powerful. She didn't send it to get something back. She just reached out with heart for no reason. Men, whether they show it or not, need to feel emotionally safe. They long for signs that someone is there without expecting anything in return. When a woman gives comfort during silence, it feels like a calm space. It feels like someone truly notices him, even in the middle of his mess. And that means more than loud words or big gifts. These small, honest moments of care break through his guard, and once they get through, they stay there. Maybe it's a light touch on his shoulder when he's tense, or the way she softly runs her hand down his arm as they sit in quiet. Maybe it's the smile she gives him when he says something silly, the kind that says, I like you anyway. These gestures don't need to be explained. They don't fight for attention, and maybe that's why they carry so much weight. A man may never speak it. He might not even know how to put it into words. But these small moments of care, especially when they come out of nowhere, build a sense of closeness that feels rare. In a world full of people asking, expecting, and needing, she simply gave, without a plan. And that sticks with him. Support isn't always loud or flashy. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it shows up as remembering something he said once, something even he might have forgotten, and doing something about it. That kind of quiet support can shake a man in the best way. Maybe he mentioned he had an important thing on Friday, and she sends a message that morning, you're going to do great. Or maybe he told her weeks ago that he loved a certain candy as a kid, and one day she brings it to him, not as a gift, but as a tiny piece of happiness. It sounds simple, but to him it's far from it, because it tells him, I hear you, I care, I notice you, even when you don't think I'm paying attention. And for a man, especially one who's used to being the steady one, the quiet one, the one others rely on, it's so rare to feel someone leaning toward him with that kind of care. This kind of support doesn't try to change him. It doesn't try to take over. It just quietly shows, I see you. That simple act of seeing can speak louder than a long talk. He might brush it off with a quick thanks, but deep inside, it sticks. It settles into a part of him that most people never reach. And here's the truth. Most men won't ask for this kind of love. They've been raised to stay quiet about it. But when it shows up in small, thoughtful ways, it brings peace. It feels like a safe place. He might not talk about it, But in that moment, he feels valued, he feels recognized, and he starts to see her in a new way, not just as someone he's interested in, but as someone who really understands him. Sometimes, what draws a man closer isn't what a woman says, it's what she doesn't say. In a world full of loud voices, strong opinions, and pressure to always entertain or explain yourself, there's something deeply attractive about a woman who's fine with silence. Not because she's distant or bored, but because she's comfortable, calm, fully present. That kind of silence doesn't feel weird, it feels grounding. It tells him she's secure in who she is. She's not chasing his attention with endless words or nervous jokes. She's not putting on a show, she's just there. And when a man notices that, something inside him wakes up. He suddenly sees he's sitting beside someone who's not afraid of being in her own space. That's rare. So many people try to prove they belong in a moment, but not her. She's showing him she already does. And that quiet strength, that calm presence draws him in without trying. Men admire confidence, but not always the loud, bold kind. The kind that speaks softly. The kind that doesn't need others to feel complete. When she leans back, looks out the window, maybe gives a small smile, and simply sits in the stillness, he notices. He may not understand why, but he feels more at ease near her. That silence becomes a kind of welcome. It tells him, you don't have to pretend around me, just be yourself. And in a world that tells men to stay alert, be tough, and always impress, that is something new. Around her, he breathes easier, thinks more clearly, and speaks more freely. It's more than peace, it's presence. That quiet, steady energy tells him she knows herself well, and without saying a word, she leaves a strong impression. There's a different kind of pull that comes from a woman who knows how to tease in the right way. Not to be harsh, not to hurt his pride, but to gently challenge him in fun. When she jokes with him, gives him a light tap, or throws in a clever remark, something lights up inside him. It's not about being mean. It's not about mocking him. It's about showing she's bold enough to keep things playful. She sees him, she likes him, but she's not afraid to keep things interesting. And that kind of energy wakes him up. Men don't always admit this, but they enjoy that kind of play. It creates a fun kind of tension, the kind that stays just on the edge, never going too far. It's like a little dance. She makes a move, he answers back. She grins, he leans closer. It keeps the spark alive. And that feeling, that teasing rhythm, makes the connection feel real and alive. What really moves him, though, is how this kind of teasing brings out a version of himself he doesn't often share. He gets to laugh, to let go, to be free. He doesn't have to be the one in charge or try to impress her every moment. He can just enjoy being with her. And in a way that's hard to explain, this playful teasing creates trust. It shows she's comfortable being direct with him, not afraid to go back and forth in a fun, respectful way. Maybe she makes a joke about his haircut. Maybe she teases him about a silly routine. Or maybe it's just the way she gives him a cheeky grin and then looks away, knowing her words hit just right. These little moments stay in his head, because it's not only about being funny, it's about what it says underneath. It tells him, I notice you, I like you, and I'm not scared of you. That kind of balance, being kind but daring, fun but gentle, creates a special emotional spark. He doesn't only enjoy it, he begins to need it, because deep inside, it reminds him of something he didn't even know he missed. Being fully seen, being lightly challenged, and being truly wanted all at once. There's something deeply attractive about a woman who shows real interest in the things that excite him, not because she's pretending to like his hobbies or trying to get on his good side, but because she truly wants to understand him better. It could be his favorite kind of music, or that podcast he always talks about, or the game he plays to relax. These might seem like small or even odd things to others, but for him, they hold meaning. And when she leans in and says, tell me more about that, it's not just his interest she's seeing, it's him. It doesn't happen often. Most people only half listen. They nod, glance at their phones, or say, cool, and move on. But when she's truly there, really listening, not because she wants something, but because she's curious about what matters to him, That feels different. It makes him feel important, valued, and understood in a way that goes beyond a surface-level attraction. She doesn't have to become an expert in what he loves. She doesn't have to change who she is. What matters is the moment she turns toward him and says, "So, why do you like that so much?" That kind of interest softens him. It opens the door to something more, because now he's not just talking, he's sharing a part of who he is, and she's holding space for it. No judgment, no pressure, just presence. This kind of listening creates a special connection. It says, "You don't have to shrink your world for me. Bring all of it." And whether or not she ever shares that passion with him, the fact that she gave it a moment, that she let it matter for a while, that stays with him. Because yes, feeling desired is great, but feeling understood, that's unforgettable. That's the kind of thing that echoes in his thoughts long after the conversation ends. There are certain things a man will never say out loud, little things he notices, small feelings he experiences, but can't always put into words. One of those quiet truths is how much he pays attention to the small changes she makes. A new scent she wears for dinner, a different way she does her hair, a change in her lipstick color. These aren't things he always comments on. He might not even mention them, but he notices, he feels them, and he loves them more than he knows how to explain. It's not about being overly glamorous or following the latest fashion. It's not about impressing him with a new look. It's the thought behind it that moves him. When she walks into the room and there's something slightly new, something clearly done with care, it gets his attention. He might not figure out what's different right away, but he feels something shift. It's like she becomes new again, fresh, mysterious, and incredibly appealing. Yes, men are visual, but they also respond deeply to small sensations. The faint smell of her perfume that lingers on his shirt, the way her skin feels when their hands touch, the playful curve of her smile that's just a bit different that day. These are the things that replay in his mind after she's gone. And what stays with him isn't just how she looked, it's the effort, the quiet effort she put in to feel good in herself. That kind of self-assuredness glows. It tells him, "I did this for me, but I know you'll notice too." And the best part? She doesn't need to ask if he noticed. She doesn't need to point it out. He already has. Maybe he won't say a word about it. Maybe he's not even sure what to say. But the shift moves something inside him. Something soft, something excited, something that pulls him toward her again and again, even when he doesn't know why. It's in those small, quiet updates that he feels the joy of seeing her like it's the first time, over and over. When a woman celebrates a man's small achievements, it means more than she probably knows, and it doesn't take much. It's not about grand celebrations or big shows of excitement. It's the small things, the quiet kind of support that shows she's been watching, that she sees what others overlook. Maybe he made it through a tough week. Maybe he finally cleaned that space he'd been avoiding. Maybe he did something simple he'd been putting off for a while. These aren't headline moments, but when she notices and says something like, "I know that took some effort. Well done," it touches him. Because the truth is, most men carry quiet burdens. They're expected to push through without asking for praise. They don't often hear, "You're doing great," even when they are. So when someone stops and says, "I saw that, I know it mattered," it creates a bond that's hard to break. It makes him feel strong, not because he's perfect, but because someone noticed he tried. That alone builds closeness. This isn't about boosting his ego, it's about feeling seen. And when that recognition comes from her, someone who matters to him, it holds weight. It tells him he's not just being watched when he wins big, but also when he does the quiet, hard things that most overlook. And sometimes that's where his real effort is. It might just be a sweet look, a gentle, "You're doing great," or a fun, "Look at you getting stuff done." However she says it, he remembers it. These small acts of support become part of how he sees her. They become memories, little emotional markers, proof that she doesn't just care when he's shining, but also when he's simply trying. Over time, that makes him feel more himself around her, more real, more grounded. And the more she holds space for these little victories, the more he connects her with comfort, encouragement, and quiet strength. She becomes the person he wants to share things with, not just his big news, but also his personal, private wins. Because around her, even the small things feel worth celebrating. There's a moment when something changes between a man and a woman, not because of a big speech or dramatic action, but because she lets herself be seen in a real, quiet way. Maybe it's the first time she opens up about something painful from her past. Maybe it's when she shares that she's nervous about something ahead. Or maybe it's just how her voice softens when she talks about someone she misses. Whatever it is, it's unfiltered, it's honest, and to him, it's unforgettable. Men are drawn to true vulnerability, not to weakness or drama, but to emotional honesty. The kind that says, I trust you enough to show you this side of me. That moment tells him she's not putting on a show or hiding behind a wall. She's just being herself. And in that space, he's not just watching her, he's feeling deeply connected to her. Most people, including men, move through life with their guard up. We share the highlights, focus on the good stuff, and try not to look like we're too much or not enough. But when she breaks that pattern, even for a short moment, and just speaks from the heart, he feels it. He might go quiet. He might pause, unsure of what to say. But don't mistake that for disinterest. He's taking it in, and something inside him is softening too. This isn't about pouring out every emotion or asking for rescue. It's about showing that she feels safe enough to be herself around him, that she can be strong and still be open, that she knows her worth but still chooses to share her feelings. And when she does that, something shifts. He stops seeing her as just someone he's dating or attracted to. He starts seeing her as someone with real depth, someone genuine, someone he feels pulled to protect, not because she's fragile, but because she's real. These are the moments that stick with him. They come back to him later, when he's alone, when he's thinking things through. Because what she gave him wasn't just a story, it was a real piece of who she is. And that kind of honesty is more powerful than anything else. Here's something many don't realize. Men don't always talk about how they feel, but they always remember how you made them feel. And what stays with them isn't the big, loud stuff. It's the tiny, sincere, human moments. It's the way you teased him with just enough edge. The way you remembered something he thought no one would care about. The way you said nothing at all, but still made him feel safe and understood. It's the sound of your laugh, the quiet support, the scent you left behind that he still thinks about. These are the memories that linger long after you've walked away. You don't have to become someone else to leave a mark. You don't have to overanalyze what to say or worry if every move was perfect. What makes you stand out is just being real, being present, noticing the things others ignore. Because when you offer small moments with care, when you carry your quiet strength into the room, you create something no big gesture ever could. Maybe he'll never say a word about it. Maybe he won't be able to describe what made you different, but something will shift in him. Something will lock into place. And when he finds himself thinking about you when he's not even sure why, when he feels that strange, deep pull he can't explain, it'll be because of this, because you did what so many never do. You connected with him in a way that mattered, not with noise, but with meaning, not through trying, but through your natural self. And that is why he won't forget you. What most people don't realize is that unforgettable connections are rarely built in big, dramatic moments. They're built slowly, piece by piece, in quiet, unexpected places. It's in the way she listens when he talks, even when he rambles. It's in how she reacts when he's not at his best, how she stays calm or gently jokes or simply says, "I'm here." It's in the comfort of her presence that doesn't demand attention but somehow holds it anyway. The truth is, men don't always understand what pulls them in. Sometimes they try to explain it and it comes out wrong. They'll say, "She's just different," or "There's something about her." What they're trying to say is, "She made me feel something I didn't know I was missing. She made me feel calm, safe, awake. She made me feel like I could just be me without having to prove anything." That feeling is rare, because so many connections today are built on performance, on showing only the shiny parts, the strong parts. But when a woman shows up with her full self, her softness, her strength, her joy, her fear, something real happens. She doesn't try to be everything. She just lets herself be. And in that honesty, she becomes something unforgettable. He remembers how it felt to be around her, how his heart slowed down, how the noise in his head faded for a moment, how he smiled more without realizing it. And those feelings stay, even when she's gone. They stick because they weren't forced. They came from something genuine, something rare. You don't need to be perfect to leave a mark. You just need to be real. You don't need to say all the right things or never make a mistake. You just need to show up with care, with presence, with your full self, even if that self is a little messy or tired or unsure. Because men don't fall for perfection, they fall for truth, for warmth, for connection that feels like home. Sometimes he'll think about a moment that seemed small at the time, a shared glance, a hand reaching for his, a soft laugh late at night, and it'll hit him all over again. The feeling, the calm, the weightlessness, and he might wonder why it sticks, why it matters. But deep down, he knows. It matters because it was real, because it was her, and because no one else made him feel that way. So when you wonder what makes a man stay, what makes him remember, what makes him feel connected in a way he can't shake, it's this. It's not how loud you are. It's not how hard you try. It's how honest you're willing to be. It's how much of your real self you're brave enough to show. And it's how gently you make space for him to do the same. That's what builds something lasting. Not noise, not pressure, but something softer, something slower, something that says, you don't have to be more, you're already enough. That's what changes everything.